What's going on, my beautiful people? Coach Will here. I hope all is well. And in this video, we're going to be discussing the real reasons as to why you can't build any muscle. Also, the reasons being discussed in this video are reasons that are often overlooked by the majority of the fitness industry, so you're not going to want to miss this one. With that being said, if you are new here, be sure to leave a like down below, comment down below on what you would like to see me go over next, subscribe, turn on post notifications, and do the whole thing. And even if you are new here, be sure to show some love down below. It really helps the channel grow so I can continue making content like this for each and every one of you each and every single day. So with that out of the way, let's get straight into it. Now understand that when it comes to building muscle, I like to break it up into three different subgroups. We have the scientific portion, we have the physiological portion, and we have the mental aspect of things. The reason why I split up into these three different subgroups is because within each subgroup, there are specific things that need to be focused on in order for you to succeed upon your fitness journey when it comes to building muscle. Understand that if for whatever reason one of any of the aspects within each of the three subgroups is off for whatever reason, this could ultimately potentially be limiting you in terms of maximizing your muscle gain and your results long term. With that being said, allow me to elaborate a little bit on each of the three different subgroups. When I'm discussing about the scientific, when it comes to my three different subgroups, I'm referring to the actual planning and the actual methodology in which you're going to be doing your training. Like, what does your training actually consist of? Do you have a proper fitness regimen in place? Do you have proper nutrition in place? Do you have a proper exercise protocol in place in which meets your current goals and aspirations as far as how much muscle you're looking to put on? Are you eating the proper amount of calories and the right macronutrients and the proper micronutrients in order to supplement your body with the fuel that it needs? And the list can go on and on and on when it comes to the little scientific details that come with optimizing your muscle gain when it comes to fitness. Now, if for whatever reason any of the few details within this subcategory is off, this is ultimately going to be limiting you in terms of optimizing your muscle gain results. So what do I recommend you do in terms of fixing this issue? Well, what I would recommend you do first is get yourself a proper plan, right? This could be doing your own research, looking through several of my YouTube videos, or looking through other fitness YouTubers videos, or looking at science-based articles that are found on the internet, or this could even be possibly hiring a coach, link down below. Now, if for whatever reason everything is set in stone, right? You have the whole scientific aspect down packed, right? This is where we're gonna transition now into the physiological point of view. Now, what do I mean by a physiological point of view? See, every single individual on planet Earth has a different genetic makeup. It doesn't matter if two people have the same parents, maybe the genetic makeup may be similar, but it's drastically different. What does this mean for you exactly though? What it means is that you have a certain peak potential as far as how much muscle mass you can actually put on and how fast or slow you put on this muscle. There is no which way that you could speed rocket this process. See, when it comes to the rate at which one puts on muscle, the only possible way to speed up the process is if you go on some form of performance enhancing drugs. And ultimately, if your goal isn't to be a professional bodybuilder or may have you, I would generally avoid going this route. Reason being is with this sort of route, you're risking a whole bunch of different side effects when it comes to using certain chemical compounds that ultimately weren't meant to be put into the body to begin with. So I would ultimately promote against the use of any form of PED. That being said, even if you were to have all of the scientific stuff in place, you would have a proper plan. Let's say you have a good coach and your coach is really laying the things out for you in terms of your fitness plan and your nutrition plan, but for whatever reason things still aren't in motion, then it could possibly be something going on in the mental aspect of things, which I'm gonna come back to the physiological aspect because sometimes they could all three be in check, but then we have to kind of come back to the physiological point because I personally believe that the physiological and the mental aspect of things go hand in hand when it comes to you ultimately maximizing your muscle growth potential. So when we're talking about the mental aspect of things, oftentimes when it comes to the muscle gaining process, everybody's in a rush to put on muscle mass. There's no other way to word it. Everybody's just in a rush. People want the fast track to game city. But to be honest, it just doesn't work that way. See, people aren't willing or have the mental capacity to want to put in that work, to want to put in the years upon years upon years that it actually takes to optimize one's physique. See, if you're in the fitness industry, or if you're into fitness for whatever shape or form, and you're really trying to put on serious muscle mass, you need to understand that out of all the things that takes the most time, muscle mass comes extremely slowly. Maybe at first it'll come really fast for some people. Some people experience what is known as newbie gains, where the first year to 2 years of lifting, they'll put on anywhere between 15 to 20 pounds of lean muscle mass. However, as soon as those newbie gains have faded off, what ends up happening is the process starts to slowly but surely decline. And then the reason why this is an issue, even though the numbers sound like, oh my God, yeah, I'm gonna put on 15 to 20 pounds of lean muscle within 2 years, that's fantastic. I'm gonna look the best I've ever looked. I'm gonna enjoy how I look. And sadly enough, this isn't the case for many people out there. Many people, what ends up happening over time is they want more and more and more and more. But what ends up happening, their body ends up giving them less and less and less over time, because the body can only put on so much muscle mass. And the longer you exercise, the less muscle mass over time that you'll actually be able to put on. And ultimately, as we come back to physiological, you can only put on so much muscle mass in general. You know what I'm saying? So it is very crucial to understand, as far as the mental aspect of things go, that we need to rewire our thinking a little bit in order to understand that it's okay to take my time. It's okay that I may not be where I'm at now or where I want to be now, but if I keep putting in the work one day at a time, 1 week at a time, 1 month at a time, 1 year at a time, that down the line I will be able to reach that end goal of how much muscle mass I want to put on long term. Now, with the mental aspect of things also comes a whole other host of things. When we also look at the mental aspect of things, we come into the consistency aspect of it. So if muscle mass takes such a long time to put on, we got to be consistent long term, correct? However, what ends up happening over time is a lot of people, they'll probably be good for maybe the first week, maybe the first 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maybe even the first month to 3 months. Let's say 90 days, they make some good progress, but they ultimately want more. And what ends up happening, they try to look for a shortcut, they try to look for the easy way out. And believe it or not, when it comes to putting on muscle, there just isn't any easy way out. You gotta be willing to put in the blood, sweat, and tears into exercising. You gotta be willing to make those sacrifices to eventually get to wherever your end goal is gonna be, as far as how much muscle mass you ultimately want to put on. So if for whatever reason you're consistent maybe a week, but then you fall off the next week and then you try to get back on the week after, you're just basically spinning the wheel and you're not gonna get anywhere anytime soon. And the same goes even if you're consistent for a month, 2 months, 3 months. If after that 3-month mark you fall off for whatever reason, you're backtracking and then you try to get back on track and then you backtrack some more, it's not gonna get you anywhere anytime soon. So what I really recommend you is get yourself into a regimen. Make sure you get routined with how you go about your approach. Make sure that whatever plan you have that's laid out for you as far as your exercise protocol and your nutrition protocol, that you follow it to a T day in and day out. Stay disciplined with it. That discipline aspect takes so much out of us mentally that we oftentimes forget to actually, stick to it. And oftentimes with doing this, we end up forgetting our why. Why are we doing this in the first place, right? And that also leads me more into the mental aspect of things, which is, why do I even want to put on this muscle mass to begin with? Is it because I'm skinny and frail? Is it because I want to compete? Or is it because I want to look good for, the girls or the boys? You know what I'm saying? So on and so forth. I want to get toned. I want to burn fat, because obviously if you put on more muscle mass, you're going to burn more fat. and so on and so forth. We really have to understand our why to then chain react into how disciplined we end up staying, and that discipline we end up applying will then correlate to adhering to the scientific plan that is laid out for us, or that we laid out for ourselves, which in then will allow us to maximize the physiological, which is our genetic makeup. But like I said, if whatever reason any of the factors that I just mentioned are out of whack, then you're ultimately hindering your muscle mass results in the long term. So with that being said, my beautiful people, that is the video. If you like the video, leave a like down below. It's greatly appreciated. Also comment down below on whatever fitness topics you would like me to go over next. Subscribe, turn on post notifications, do the whole thing. And with that being said, my beautiful people, in will we trust? Until next time.